You're crazy. Am I? Yes. Am I? Yes. Am I?
The anti-black black is back. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about Candace Owens. Yeah. Now, for a lot of people in UK who've heard of her but don't know her resume, yeah, she's what I would call the treacherous, the most despicable, most devious, and many other words, including ugly, and ugly not as in like looks, but ugly as in her personality. The most anti-black person you could ever... Well, not the most anti-black person. There is kind of like Jesse Lee Peterson as well. He's one. But she's what I would say the most kind of like outspoken or most popular. Because I think, obviously, because she's a woman. And yeah, some people say she's ugly, but I don't know. She's a bit thin, but I digress. But the reason why she's getting slated a lot, especially this week, is because of what she said about George Floyd. And how she expressed her values or her opinions on the whole situation.
I want to come out and say that I do not support George Floyd and the media depiction of him as a martyr for Black America. I'm going to explain why, and I hope that some of you guys will understand where I'm coming from.
Now, what it is that in this group that I follow, yeah, a person posted the video in the group, and it's a political group, and the majority of the people in the group are white. And when I looked through the comments, what I noticed, or the running theme throughout, was that, well, if black people were more like Candace Owens, wouldn't the world be a better place? Or this kind of thing wouldn't happen? Because, you know, she talks so eloquently and she seems so smart and she's expressing, she's only telling the truth and how it is and so forth and blah, blah, blah. And what I wanted to do in this video is kind of explain or kind of like demonstrate, right, why thinking like that kind of shows that you don't understand what black people are going through or explain why it is that black people don't like her because of her treacherous nature, yeah? Some people did get it, but majority of people didn't, yeah? And I think that majority of people in just globally kind of like, you know what I mean? They don't understand that how someone who is treacherous against their own group, yeah, in my opinion, deservedly needs to be called out and get slated, yeah? So what I'm going to do is kind of like put together a hypothetical kind of like scenario situation, yeah, and go through it. So so all of you who still got some kind of imagination, yeah, just kind of like bear with me as I walk you through, yeah, and hopefully by the end of it, you'll kind of grasp the point that I'm trying to make, yeah. So let's say, for example, yeah, that a young woman, yeah, a young white woman, yeah, up north somewhere gets raped by a middle-aged Muslim man, yeah, you know, one of those grooming gang guys, yeah. And it's caught on CCTV. And it's not one of those crap CCTV where it's all blurry. You can see detail, yeah? So you can see her trying to fight him off. You can see her arguing with him and trying to run him off and everything. And the guy persists, does what he does, rapes her and so forth and so on. I'm not going to get into that kind of detail, but you know what I mean, yeah? So then the story breaks out, it hits the news, and it becomes a global thing. Like, just like, for example, like what happened with George Floyd. Now, at this point, I just want to put this little interjection here, yeah? What the protesting that's happening throughout the last couple of weeks is not, and I've said this before, and I say it again, it's not for George Floyd. It's because of the situation and against brutality, yeah? It is not about we're protesting just for this one man, yeah? Because a lot of people tend to think that way. A lot of people see it as, why is George Floyd getting all this attention? But it's not about George Floyd was the catalyst, but not the fuel. He was the straw that broke the camel's back, and people said, you know, enough is enough. I just wanted to put that in there, yeah? So anyway, sticking to my story, yeah. So this white woman, yeah, she gets raped, and people are out there protesting against rape, and in her name want justice for her, right? I think that's a fair thing to say. So then, 2 days later, Susan Reid, or Susanna Reid, yeah, you know, the woman on Good Morning Britain, yeah, she comes out and she makes a video on her Facebook or Instagram. And in this video, yeah, she starts saying things like this. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, well, you know what, yeah, I don't condone what happened to the young lady, but she was a slag anyway. Yeah. And in my research, when I looked into her past, I found out that she slept with 5 guys in 2 years. There's a picture of her with a hen night, you know, in a dress that's covered in dildos, and she's flashing her knickers. And I'd gone into her back, and when she was 17 or whatever, she did X, Y, Z behind the bike shed or whatever. You know, all kind of horrible things to say about this person, in order to in order to disgrace her. You know what I mean? So she comes out and says that. She then goes on to start talking about how this kind of behavior of this one woman, the behavior of that young woman, is the behavior of all white women in general. And that if all white women in general didn't go out and act that way and didn't portray themselves by acting all slaggish and slutty and all that, then, you know, they wouldn't get raped in the first place. And then she starts dropping statistics. And then on a bizarre one, Susan, remember, this is Susan Boyle, this is Susanna Reid saying this. So keep that imagination going. She then goes on to say that, within the white community, right, statistically, white males commit more paedophilia, and that white men are this and white men are that. She then goes on to say that, finally, that all those white people that are protesting out there, yeah, they're all fools for protesting and believing in the media hype, because at the end of the day, the young woman that got raped was no angel, yeah. As I said, she was a slag. And if you want to support slags, then, well, I don't know what to say. You're all sheep and you're all X, Y, Z, this, that, and the other. Now, like I said, I'm just being hypothetical here, yeah? I'm not saying that Susanna Reid said any of this, yeah? I'm just being hypothetical. Now, tell me, if you heard all of that, yeah? Tell me you wouldn't want to, as they say, kick 7 bells of shit out of her, yeah, for saying so. And to make things worse, yeah, all those things that she's said, right, those guys who are in that kind of like grooming gang, kind of like consortium or whatever you want to call it, they take Susanna's words, yeah, as leverage and use it against white people and say, well, you know what, yeah, well, this is how we think about white people, and that white woman has confirmed it for us by saying what she had to say. You see what I'm saying with that? So, a Muslim group of people, or a small sector of Muslim men who might say that, well, white women are slags anyway, and say negative things about white women. To hear Susanna Reid say it as a white woman just confirms their ideals or confirms their logic. Yeah? So like I said, tell me as a white person, you wouldn't want to kick the living daylights out of her. Kick the living daylights out of her. Of course you would. Yeah? And for me, that's why the majority of black people don't like Candace Owens, because she does this constantly. At any given opportunity she has to go out there and berate black people, she's on it. Yeah. And the way that she does it is kind of clever, because she plays the black card a lot. Yeah? So she'll say, well, I'm black, and as a black person speaking for the black community, I'll say this. And a lot of people buy into that. They just lap it up. They go, oh yeah, she's black, she must, and she's a black representative of the black community. Then she must know what she's talking about. And because her rhetoric, should I say, and because her rhetoric suits your perspective or your narrative as a white person, of course you're going to agree with her. So then when black people are against her or talk against her, you scratching your head going, well, why are they against her? And it's because of the treacherous shit that she's saying. Simple as. You know what I mean? Simple as. Now, like I said, I just want to make this disclaimer. I only use Susanna Reid as an example for my little kind of like analogy, simply because she's a household name. Yeah, everyone who knows, well, everyone in Britain knows who she is because she presents on Good Morning Britain. I haven't got nothing personal against her, and I'm not picking on her or nothing like that. So, no, get that out of your head. And one last thing, which I wanted to mention, but I can't find it in my notes. But I think I got my main point out of the way. But like I says, the main reason why a lot of black people don't like Candace Owens is because she's a treacherous bitch. Yeah, and when I say treacherous, she's treacherous towards the black community. And as a white person, when you hear what she has to say and you agree with her, yeah, it's only because it's only because what she's saying fits your negative stereotypes of black people anyway. And for you, it's a confirmation in which you can then turn around and use it against black people. And that's just for the majority of white people who agree with her. I'm not saying all of them, because there were. I must admit, there were a few white people who left comments saying that, nah, this bitch is wrong. Yeah. But anyway, that's my take on the Candace Owens, and I'm out. Peace. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Yes. Am I? Yes. Am I? Yes.